Sarah had been Rebecca's target junior year until she figured out the manipulation and warned other students. Rebecca told everyone Sarah had bullied her for months and made her life miserable. Most people believed Rebecca because she cried so convincingly. Sarah ended up changing schools to escape the harassment. Danielle said the story about me looking like Rebecca's childhood bully was probably completely made up. Rebecca just needed a reason to push me out, so she could have my mother to herself. I felt sick listening to all this. Rebecca hadn't just stumbled into my mother's life by accident. She'd researched and planned and calculated exactly how to take everything from me. Dylan leaned forward and suggested that Rebecca probably watched my mother and Howard for weeks before Howard even introduced her. She would have learned their routines and habits and emotional weak spots. She'd have figured out that my mother was vulnerable after her divorce and eager to please her new husband. She'd have noticed that Howard felt guilty about something, or wanted to prove himself as a good father. Rebecca had studied them like a predator studies prey before attacking. Phyllis and Danielle gave us copies of everything they had, including contact information for other former co-workers who remembered Rebecca's scam. Kent came by during his lunch break to add his own observations about how Rebecca had manipulated their entire office. He described how she'd play different people against each other while positioning herself as the innocent victim who needed protection. The pattern was always the same. Gain trust through vulnerability. Extract resources through manufactured crisis. Disappear before people fully understood what happened. We left the coffee shop with more evidence than I knew what to do with. Diane drove us back to her house where we organized everything into categories: financial fraud, fake illnesses, emotional manipulation, pattern of behavior across multiple victims. The case against Rebecca was building, but my mother still believed every lie. My Uncle James called that evening saying he'd tried to talk to Howard at the hardware store downtown. James had gone there specifically because he knew Howard shopped there every Saturday morning. He'd approached Howard in the lumber section and asked to speak privately. Howard's face had gone pale and he'd refused to discuss anything about Rebecca or my mother. James said Howard looked trapped and scared rather than defiant or angry. His hands shook when James mentioned Rebecca's name. Howard kept glancing around like he expected someone to be watching. He'd practically run away when James pressed for answers. James thought Rebecca might have some kind of hold over Howard too. Maybe she was threatening him or blackmailing him with something. The fear in Howard's eyes wasn't the look of a man protecting his daughter. It was the look of a man who'd made a terrible mistake and didn't know how to fix it. Diane decided to contact the lawyer who'd witnessed my mother's will change after she refused. She tracked him down through the county records and called his office. The lawyer was reluctant to discuss client matters, but Diane explained the situation carefully. She mentioned the evidence of fraud and the pattern of elder abuse. The lawyer finally admitted that my